progressions. Getting started. Sheet 1B. Sheet 1B. All right. All right. So the first problem of the sheet is about the following groups. There is a group, first group, whose term is 1, just one term. Then there is a second group whose terms are 2, 3, 4. Then there is a third group whose terms are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. We want to show that the numbers in the nth group, we want to show that the sum of the numbers in the nth group is n cubed plus n minus 1 whole cube. This is what we want to show, right? So now a few simple observations. The number of terms in the nth group in the first term there is one term in the first group. In the second one, 3, 5. Yes, so the number of terms in the nth group would be the nth term of the sequence, 1 plus 3, 1, 3, 5, etc. And the nth member of the sequence is going to be 1 plus n minus 1 into 2. That makes it 2n minus 1. Yes or no? The number of terms in the nth group is going to be 2n minus 1. Okay. Now, in the second group, the first term is 1 square plus 1. In the third group, it's 2 square plus 1. Fourth group, it's 3 square plus 1. The nth group, the first term of the nth group is going to be n minus 1 whole squared plus 1. Yes or no? First term of the nth group is going to be n minus 1 whole squared plus 1. Are you all in sync with me? And the terms in any group are in arithmetic progression with common difference 1. And therefore, the sum of the terms in the nth group is going to be number of terms by 2, 2n minus 1 by 2 into 2 times a, 2 times the first term, which is this. Yes or no? Huh? Are you confused? 2 times n minus 1 whole squared plus 1, 2a plus number of terms minus 1 into d. That means 2n minus 2 into d. Yes or no? Right? Number of terms by 2, n by 2 into 2a plus number of terms minus 1 into common difference d. Yes or no? We just need to simplify matters here, right? Nothing difficult about it. This 2 will get cancelled with this 2, making this n minus 1 in the first place. Right? This then is like 2n minus 1 into, there is a n squared. This 1 will get cancelled with this 1. Minus 2n plus n is minus n plus 1. Yes or no? Again, realize that this gives me a 2n cubed, right? This into this. The n square terms will come from here. 2n into n minus 2n squared minus n squared. That makes it minus 3n squared, right? Then the n will come as 2n into 1 plus n plus 3n, and then minus 1. Yes or no? Now this 2n cubed I can write as n cubed plus n cubed, and this is n minus 1 whole cubed. So this is n cubed plus n minus 1 whole cubed as was required. Does it make sense to all of you? Okay. And I am assuming you would have independently got it right as well. No? How many of you got this right? 1, 2, 3. Very good. Okay. Let's look at the next problem. Okay. We have a set of numbers like this. It starts with a 49. Then the next number is 4489. Then 444889, and so on and so forth. We want to show that all these members are perfect squares. We want to establish that all these members are perfect squares. All right. So it's a very simple thing. Let's start by writing the general term, the rth term of the sequence. Rth term. We want to show that TR is a perfect square for all R. The first term contains 1 4. The second term contains 2 4s. The third term contains 3 4s. So the nth term will contain n 4s. Nth term contains n 4s. N times. Okay. The first term contains no 8. The second term contains 1 8. The third term contains 2 8s. The nth term will contain n minus 1 8s. N minus 1 8s. And then there is 1 9 in all. Okay, so this is n, nth term. Say, how does it matter? This is n minus 1 8s. Yes or no? N 4s, n minus 1 8s, and 1 9. That's the constitution of the general term, the nth term of the sequence. We want to show that Tn is a perfect square. We want to establish that Tn is a perfect square. Now, no rocket science involved here. Let me expand it as we do in decimal notation. This is the units place, so 9. And then this would be 8 into 10 to power 1 plus 8 into 10 square plus 8 into 10 cubed, and so on and so forth. How many such terms? N minus 1 such terms, right? So 8 into 10 plus 10 square plus 10 cubed, up to how many terms? N minus 1 terms. Right? Yes or no? So we've exhausted all these. This entire string has been taken care of. Now start with the 4. Now, there are n places after 4. So 4 into 10 to power n. Then 4 into 10 to power n plus 1. Up to n terms. Yes or no? So 4 into 10 to power n, right? There are n members after this 4. Then one more after the next 4. Up to n terms. Yes or no? Clear? We need to now simplify matters here. Clear? Okay. This is 9 plus. This is a GP series with first term 10, common ratio 10, number of terms n minus 1, right? So sum of n terms of a GP series, sum of n minus 1 terms, a, which is first term, into r to power n, 10 to power n minus 1, right? 10 to power n minus 1, minus 1, 10 to power number of terms, minus 1, divided by 10 minus 1, which is 9. Sum of this GP series, a into r to power number of terms, minus 1 by r minus 1, right? And then plus 4. This is a GP series with n terms. First term is 10 to power n, common ratio is 10, right? So 4 into A, which is 10 to power n, right, into R. To power number of terms, R is 10, R to power number of terms, minus 1 by R minus 1. Yes or no? This is what we need to take care of in principle, right? Yes or no? Now this becomes like, I take LCM, 9 is the LCM, so 81 minus 80, right? So that makes it 1 plus 8 into 10 to power n, right? This will become 8 into 10 to power n minus 4 into 10 to power n. See, 4 into 10 to power n into minus 1, which will make it 4 into 10 to power n, and then 8 into 10 to power n, so that makes it 4 into 10 to power n, yes or no? See, 8 into 10 to power n minus 4 into 10 to power n, that makes it 4 into 10 to power n. Then this I have taken care, this becomes 4 into 10 to power 2n. This is the only term left with 4 into 10 to power 2n. That makes it 2 into 10 to power n whole squared by 9. Yes or no? A square plus B square plus twice A into B is A plus B whole squared. Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? This would then become 2 into 10 to power n plus 1 by 3 whole squared. But not yet done. Our job is still left. Because this is a fraction. I need to show that this has to be an integer, square of an integer. So do you all understand whatever I've done here? You're lost, Ayush. Tell me where. A square plus B square plus 2AB. Oh, before that only. From here to here. Take the LCM and do it that yourself. This 2 into 10 to power n whole squared. Right? Hey, I still need to show that 2 into 10 to power n plus 1 by 3 is an integer. Now that's not difficult because see, 2 into 10 to power n would mean what? 2 followed by how many zeros? N zeros. And then adding 1 means this. Sum of the digits here is 3. Therefore, the numerator is perfectly divisible by 3. And therefore, this is square of an integer. 2 into 10 to power n matlab kya hua? 2 followed by n zeros. Right? Plus 1. Which is this then. How do you know if a number is divisible by 3? If the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. In this case, sum of the digits is 3, which is divisible by 3. Therefore, the numerator is divisible by the denominator. Therefore, it's an integer, and therefore, it's square of an integer. Yes or no? So, all members here are perfect squares. All members here are perfect squares. Yes or no? How many of you got this right? 1, 2. In problem 3, we want to find the sum up to n terms of the following. 3 into 7 into 11 into 15 plus 7 into 11 into 15 into 19 up to n terms. Right? Okay. See, like I said, these numbers are in arithmetic progression. So we would end up deploying the same method of differences, creating an artificial telescopic series, right? So first thing that we need to do is, job on hand, is to generalize the rth term, find the general term. Now the first term starts with 3, The second term starts with 7. The third term will start with 11, and then 15, and so on and so forth. The first term 3, 7, which is an arithmetic progression with common difference 4. So the nth member of the sequence is going to be what? 3 plus n minus 1 into 4, which makes it 4n minus 1. So the nth term will start with 4n minus 1. The rth term will start with 4r minus 1. Yes or no? So the rth, do you all understand this? The rth term will start with 4r minus 1. Yes or no? And then keep increasing by 4. Yes or no? From one to another. So add 4. So that makes it 4r plus 3. Then 4r plus 7. And then 4r plus 11. Yes or no? That's the rth term. Rth term is 4r minus 1 into 4r plus 3 into 4r plus 7 into 4r plus 11. That's the rth term. Yes or no? Okay. Just to create some more room. Okay. Think of a number after this. What would it have been? 4r plus 15? Think of a number before this. 4r minus 5. 4r minus 5. Now, what is it that we have multiplied the whole thing with? 20. So you want to divide by 20? So 1 by 20. And then I bring that 20 here. Yes or no? Now, this is like 4r minus 1 into 4r plus 3 into 4r plus 7 into 4r plus 11 into 4r plus 15 minus 4r minus 5, 4r minus 1, 4r plus 3, 4r plus 7, 4r plus 11. Yes or no? Huh? Right, VR minus 1. So realize that if this is customarily referred to as VR, if this is referred to as VR, then replace r by r minus 1. So this will become 4r minus 4 minus 1, which is 4r minus 5. Replace r by r minus 1. 4r minus 4 plus 3, which is 4r minus 1, and so on and so forth. Yes or no? So if this expression is referred to as VR, then this could be looked upon as VR minus 1. And we are ready for a telescope. We are ready for a telescope, right? So 20 times TR is VR minus VR minus 1. Put R equal to 1, 2, 3 up to N. 20 times T1 is V1 minus V0. 20 times T2, V2 minus V3. 20 times Tn is Vn minus V2 minus V1, Vn minus 1, and so on and so forth. Right? Sum it up. 20 times the required sum, Sn. T1 plus T2 plus Tn is the required sum, Sn. And see, a cancellation occurs, leaving you with Vn and V0 on the right hand side. How do you obtain Vn? Replace R by N. How do you obtain V0? Put R equal to 0 in VR. So Vn and V0 are known. Sn therefore can be so very easily obtained. Six. A, B, C, D are numbers in HP. Are in harmonic progression, means their reciprocals are in arithmetic progression, right? And if three numbers A, B, C are in HP, then B is the harmonic mean of those numbers. B is the harmonic mean of those numbers. Now we will all, okay, and A, B, C, D are also given to be positive distinct real numbers. Positive distinct real numbers. We want to show number one, AD bigger than BC. A into D bigger than B into C. Okay? Now B is the harmonic mean between A and C, isn't it? B is the harmonic mean between A and C. But the harmonic mean between two numbers will always be less than the geometric mean between the two numbers if the two numbers are positive and distinct. The harmonic mean between the two numbers will always be less than the geometric mean root AC between the two numbers. Therefore, one thing for sure, B is less than root AC. Harmonic mean less than geometric mean. This is geometric mean between A and C. Right? Okay. Now, C is the harmonic mean between B and D. C is the harmonic mean between B and D, which is obviously less than the geometric mean between B and D. Right? So, which means C is less than root BD. C is less than root BD. What? Nahi? Lost? Where? This. B, C, D are in HP. So C must be the harmonic mean between B and D. No, you didn't understand this. But if you understood this, why could you not understand this? I don't understand that. Huh? No, but this is the same as this. Pura, don't say second last, say first step. Right? No, I'm here to explain everything to you, and I can do that very patiently. Okay? So, one thing, if A, B, C are in HP, what it really means is that 1 by A, 1 by B, 1 by C are in AP. Does it mean that? Do you understand this? Now, does it also mean that 1 by B must be the arithmetic mean of 1 by A and 1 by C? Right? Does it mean that? Okay. Which really means that B must be 2AC by A plus C. Does it mean that? Does it also mean that this will be 2 divided by 1 by A plus 1 by C? Dividing by AC both numerator denominator. But what is this? This is the harmonic mean between A and C? Yes or no? 1 by, yes or no? Is this not the harmonic mean between A and C? That's the definition of harmonic mean between two numbers. That means if A, B, C are in HP, B must be the harmonic mean between the two adjoining numbers. If A, B, C are in AP, then B must be the arithmetic mean between A and C. If A, B, C are in GP, then B must be the geometric mean between A and C. No? Are you still lost? Yes, you are. Okay. Okay. And therefore, if A, B, C are in HP, B must be the harmonic mean between A and C. But the harmonic mean between two numbers, which is B, must be less than the geometric mean between the two numbers, root AC, geometric mean between two numbers. Yes or no? HM will be less than GM and GM will be less than AM if numbers are positive and distinct. Right? So now do you understand B less than root AC? Okay. C, similarly, B, C, D are in HP. Right? So C must be the harmonic mean between B and D. C must be the harmonic mean between B and D. But the harmonic mean between two numbers is less than the geometric mean between the two numbers, root BD. Yes or no? Huh? So C must be less than root BD. How about it? What? Nahin. You look tentative. I can explain it a few more times if you like. Are you lost? Anyone? No? And here multiply this, these two. BC less than root ABCD. This root BC less than root AD. BC therefore less than AD. Yes or no? BC less than AD. This is what we set out to prove. Are you fine with this or not fine with this? Ask yaar, koi baat nahi hai, I'll explain. Don't feel shy. हाँ हाँ ये रूट BC और ये BC. BC divided by root BC. BC divided by root BC is BC divided by BC to power half, which is laws of indices BC to power 1 minus half, which is BC to power 1 minus half. Take the LCM by 2. 2 minus 1. 1 by 2. So 1 minus half is half. But BC to power half is actually root BC. Right? Do you understand that now? Is there a problem? Ayush? This is fine now, right? Shall we proceed with your consent? Right? Okay. Can I wipe this off? Huh? All's good now? Okay. Okay, the next part of the problem is we need to show that A plus D is bigger than B plus C. We need to show that A plus D is bigger than B plus C. Now, what is B? The harmonic mean between A and C, yes or no? B is the harmonic, do I need to explain that again? B is the harmonic mean between A and C? Nahi na? No. Relax. But the harmonic mean between two numbers is less than the arithmetic mean between the two numbers, A plus C by 2. Harmonic mean less than arithmetic mean, yes or no? Okay, C is the harmonic mean between B and D. C is the harmonic mean between B and D. But the harmonic mean between B and D must be less than the arithmetic mean between B and D. Yes or no? Add these two. So B plus C less than A plus B plus C plus D by 2. Yes or no? But B plus C by 2 transposed on the left hand side, B plus C minus B plus C by 2 is B plus C by 2 less than A plus D by 2. So B plus C less than A plus D, which is what we set out to prove. Yes or no? Number 7. We want to find the sum 1 by AR plus B into A into R plus 1 plus B. R varies from 1 to n. This is the sum that we want to find. Right? So the rth member of the sequence, this is summation TR, is 1 by AR plus B, A into R plus 1 plus B. Right? I would want to write the numerator as this minus this. Right? A into R plus 1 plus B, last term minus first term, minus AR plus B. That's how I would seek to write the numerator. Right? And then I divide this divided by this minus this divided by this. Right? So when I divide, I end up getting 1 by AR plus B minus 1 by A into R plus 1 plus B? Yes or no? This is the rth term. If this is VR, then what is this? Replacing R by R plus 1, this therefore is V R plus 1, right? So TR, I'm sorry, I have not done a balancing, divided by A. So A times TR, A times TR. You know, I should have divided by A because numerator was 1, now A appears. So I divided by A, that A comes here. So A times TR is like a VR minus V R plus 1. Yes or no? Where VR is this and VR plus 1 is that. Clear? So A times T1 is V1 minus V2. A times T2 is V2 minus V3. A times Tn is Vn minus Vn plus 1. And now I add vertically. Do you understand this? There is a left inclined cancellation. So two virgin terms, Vn plus 1 and Vn. Yes or no? Vn plus 1 and V1. Right? A into T1 plus T2 plus Tn. So A times the required summation S, T1 plus T2 plus Tn. That must be equal to V1 minus Vn plus 1. What is V1? A plus 1 by A plus B, put R equal to 1, you will get V1 minus, what is Vn plus 1? 1 by A into n plus 1 plus B. That's the required summation. Yeah, of course, yeah. Three numbers form an HP, X, Y, Z. Sum of these numbers is 11. Is 11. And the sum of their reciprocals is 1. We want to be able to find these numbers. We then want to be able to find these numbers. Now, if X, Y, Z are in HP, then 1 by Y would be half of 1 by X plus 1 by Z. Yes or no? Do you understand this? That means 1 by X plus 1 by Y is 2 by 1 by X plus 1 by Z is 2 by Y. 1 by X plus 1 by Z will be 2 by Y plus 1 by Y, that makes it 3 by Y is 1. Yes or no? No? Y therefore is 3. Now if Y is 3, then X plus Z is 8. X plus Z is 8. Right? And Y, as you can see, is 2xz by X plus Z. 2xz by X plus Z is Y. Therefore, 2xz is Y, which we have found is 3, into X plus Z, which is 8, which is 24. So xz is 12. xz is 12. Now, we want to find X and Z are the roots of this. T squared minus sum of the roots into T plus product of the roots equal to 0. Yes or no? X and Z are the roots of this. Do you all know? Given the sum and product, find the equation of whose roots are X and Z. T squared minus sum of the roots into t plus product of the roots is 0. So t will give me the pair xz, right? So t minus 4 into t minus 6 into t minus 2 is 0. T therefore must be 2 or 6. So one of them must be 2. The x can be 2, z can be 6, or x can be 6 and z can be 2. Yes or no? Right? Clear? So the thing could be x could be 2, y is 3, z is 6, or 6, 3, 2. This is the xyz triplet. 2, 3, 6, or x could be 6, y is 3, and z could be 2. Right? Let's look at 10. Can I wipe this off? Are you all fine with this so far? Now, if a and b are two fixed numbers, and I plug in three numbers between a and b, x, y, z, such that a, x, y, z and b are in AP, right? Then what turns out is that x, y, z is 55. This is what happens. That's given. If between two numbers a and b, I insert three means, arithmetic means, then the product of those three means is given to be 55, right? Again, if a, x, y, z and b are in HP, that means between two numbers a and b, three harmonic means are inserted, x, y, z, right? That means a, x, y, z, b are in HP. Then the product of x, y, z turns out to be 343 by 55. We want to be able to find a and b given that they are positive integers. We want to be able to find a and b given that they are positive integers, right? Okay. Look at this. A, x, y, z and b in AP, right? Now let me find x, y and z in terms of a and b. Clear? Suppose d is the common difference of this AP. D is the common difference. Then can I say b must be a plus, do you realize first, second, third, fourth, fifth? B must be the fifth term of this AP with first term a. So a plus 4d. B must be first term plus n minus 1, which is 5 minus 1 into d, yes or no? Right? Therefore, d turns out to be b minus a by 4. Right? X therefore would be what? A plus d. X would be a plus d, which is a plus b minus a by 4, which is 3a plus b by 4. Right? X would be a plus d. Y would be a plus 2d. Right? Y would be a plus 2d, yes or no? A plus twice b minus a by 4. Right? Which turns out to be 2 into a plus b by 4. Right? Which is a plus b by 2. Yes or no? Similarly, z must be a plus 3d. A plus 3 into b minus a by 4. That makes it a plus 3b by 4. Yes or no? And XYZ is given to be 55 in this situation. So this into this into this is given to be 55. That means 3a plus b into twice a plus b into a plus 3b by 4 cubed is 55. Right? Now look at this. These numbers are in HP. That means 1 by A, this case now. 1 by A, 1 by X, 1 by Y, 1 by Z, and 1 by B must be in AP. Right? Yes or no? Which means now exactly the same way. If D is the common difference of this AP, then what would 1 by B be? 1 by B would be 1 by A plus 4D. D is the common difference of this new AP, right? D therefore will turn out to be 1 by B minus 1 by A by 4. What would 1 by X be? 1 by A plus 1 by D? 1 by, I'm sorry, 1 by A plus D? Plus D? Which is 3 by 4A plus 1 by 4B, which is 3B plus A by 4AB. 3B plus A by 4AB. Similarly, what is 1 by Y? 1 by A plus 2D. Which is A minus 1 by 2A, that means 1 by 2A, isn't it? Plus 1 by 2B, which is A plus B by 2AB, which is like 2A plus B by 4AB, just to bring the same denominator in all of them. 2 into A plus B by 4AB, that's 1 by Y. Clear? 1 by Z is going to be 1 by A plus 3 times the common difference, right? That means 3 by 4 into 1 by B minus 1 by A. Which is 1 by 4A plus 3 by 4B, which is B plus 3A by 4AB. Yes or no? Now 1 by XYZ from this, 1 by XYZ is what? 3B plus A into twice A plus B into B plus 3A by and 4 cubed AB. 4 cubed AB? 4 cubed AB cubed, right? And 1 by XYZ is 55 by 343. In this case, 55 by 343. This is 2. Divide this by this. 55 will get cancelled. When I divide equation 1 by 2, 55 will get cancelled. I get AB cubed equal to 343. Yes or no? Huh. Question? Dividing 1 by 2. Right? Which is 7 cubed? AB is 7. But A and B are positive integers. And their product is 7. That means one of them must be 1, the other one must be 7. That's the only possibility. So, the only possibility is either A is 1 and B is 7, or A is 7 or B is 1, because 7 is a prime number. There are no other. 7 can be put into two factors only as 1 into 7. So, one of them must be 1, the other one must be 7. So, between A and B, one is 1, the other one is 7. Who got it right? No. Actually, one more thing that I want to tell you, although you know I did it so elaborately, but to find 1 by x, y, z here, you know, this is the same as this, except that A has been replaced by 1 by A, x has been replaced by 1 by x, 1 by y. So, if this was my x, y, z earlier, replace x by 1 by x, y by 1 by y, z by 1 by z, and A by 1 by A, B by 1 by B, etc., you will get this only. You would have got this. From this, just by replacing, see, if this was my x, y, z earlier, then the new x, y, z means replacing x by 1 by x, y by 1 by y, z by 1 by z, A by 1 by A, B by 1 by B, 1 by A, 1 by B, A by 1 by A, B by 1 by B, you would have got the same thing without doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Clear? That would have saved you time. Now, see, can I wipe this off? See, if I have n quantities, A1, A2, A3, An, right? Now, sum of the product 2 at a time means what? Take all possible pairs. For example, A1, A2 plus A2, A3 plus and so on and so forth. All possible pairs. But if A1, A2 has appeared, A2, A1 will not appear in this. This is sum of the product taken all at a time, all at a time. All possible pairs are taken in this summation. Sum of the product, this is sum of the product taken 2 at a time. This is sum of the product taken 2 at a time. And once you learn some permutation combinations, you will realize that the number of terms here would be NC2. But don't bother about that right now. If you have done it in school, you'll all possible pairs, yaar. Do I have to write? Huh? All possible pairs would have to be included. Right? So this is S2, sum of the product taken 2 at a time. Sum of the product taken 2 at a time, in which all pairs will get included. Yes or no? Now, when I have something like this, A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus An whole square. When you square this, say when I square this, A1 plus A2 whole square, I get A1 squared plus A2 squared plus twice S2. Sum of the product taken 2 at a time in this case will be only one term, A1, A2. In this case, S2 for A1 and A2 would be simply A1, A2, sum of the product taken 2 at a time. Suppose you had A1 plus A2 plus A3 whole square. Then you end up getting A1 squared plus A2 squared plus A3 squared plus twice A1 A2 plus A2 A3 plus A3 A1, which is sum of the product taken two at a time, which is like summation AR squared. This is summation AR squared plus twice S2, sum of the product taken two at a time. In a very general sense, this would also be A1 squared plus A2 squared plus AN squared plus twice sum of the product taken two at a time. S2. All possible pairs will be included in this. Yes or no? Niloy. Korche naki bhoy. Clear? So you understand what it means by sum of the product taken two at a time? Now, if I had these numbers 1, 2, 3 up to n, 1, 2, 3 up to n, then sum of the product taken two at a time would be all possible pairs. 1 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 1 and 3 into 1 and so on and so forth. All possible pairs would get included in this. But every pair appearing only once. If 1 into 3 has appeared, 3 into 1 will not appear in sum of the product taken two at a time, right? So if I have to find S2 here, all that I need to do here is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus n whole square, right? This would give me what? This would give me 1 squared plus 2 squared plus n squared plus twice sum of the product taken two at a time. Sum of the product taken two at a time is what I'm going to get out of it. But 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus n I already know is n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square. Sum of the squares of the first n natural numbers, n into n plus 1 by 2 into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Sum of the squares of the first n natural numbers, right? Plus twice the required summation S2. So S2 you can find from these considerations, which is sum of the product of these numbers taken two at a time. If n is even, and alpha plus beta and alpha minus beta are middle terms of an arithmetic progression, are two middle terms of an arithmetic progression. These are the two middle terms of an arithmetic progression. That means from the first term till alpha plus beta, there must be n by 2 terms, and from alpha minus beta till the last term, there must be another n by 2 terms. Yes or no? Yes or no? Isn't it? Total number of terms are n, even. So from this term to the first term, there must be n by 2 terms, and from this term to the last term, there must be n by 2 terms. Yes or no? Right? And they're given to be in AP. They're given to be in AP. Cubes of the AP, right? Some of the cubes of the AP. And these are consecutive terms. These are consecutive terms. And do you see, this minus this is minus 2 beta. This minus this is minus 2 beta. That means the common difference of the proposed AP is minus 2 beta. Yes or no? That means, now, look at the last n by 2 terms, alpha minus beta, alpha minus 3 beta, alpha minus 5 beta, and so on and so forth. These are the last n terms, decreasing by 2 beta from one term to the next. Common difference is minus 2 beta, yes or no? Now, alpha plus beta, if I go to the right, it decreases by 2 beta, but if I go to the left, it increases by 2 beta. So then this is going to be alpha plus 3 beta, alpha plus 5 beta, alpha plus 7 beta, and so on and so forth. There are n by 2 such terms, and n by 2 such terms. Yes or no? Right? Now, see, from here, 1, 3, 5, etc. These are odd numbers. These are odd numbers. Therefore, let's say if this is looked upon as the first term, then the rth term from here is going to be alpha minus 2r minus 1 beta. Tell me, yes or no? 1, 3, 5, 7 belong to the form 2r minus 1, isn't it? If you plug in r equal to 1, you get alpha minus beta. If you plug in r equal to 2, you get alpha minus 3 beta. Alpha equal to 3, alpha minus 5 beta. Yes or no? So all these members have a generic representation alpha minus 2r minus 1 into beta, where r runs from 1 to n by 2. Yes or no? If you look at the generic representation of members here, again, that's going to be alpha plus 2r minus 1 beta. Yes or no? Put r equal to 1, you get alpha plus beta. Put r equal to 2, you get alpha plus 3 beta. R equal to 3, alpha plus 5 beta, and so on and so forth. Where r runs from 1 all the way to n by 2. Yes or no? We need to find the sum of the cubes of these numbers, sum of the cubes of these numbers. Yes or no? That means sum of the cubes of these numbers would be summation alpha minus 2r minus 1 beta whole cube. Sum of the cubes of these numbers would be alpha minus 2r minus 1 beta whole cube, where r runs from 1 all the way to n by 2. Yes or no? Sum of the cubes of these numbers would be sigma alpha plus 2r minus 1 beta cubed, where r runs from 1 to n by 2. Yes or no? And what we are seeking is, the required sum is going to be this plus this. Yes or no? This is what we are seeking to find. This is sum of the cubes of the last n by 2 numbers. This is sum of the cubes of the first n by 2 numbers. Yes or no? Okay. So far so good, right? Can I then gracefully accommodate these terms algebraically and move on to a final expression for this summation? Shall we do that? Then from property of summation notation, S would be all under a common summation sign, r equal to 1 to n by 2, alpha plus 2r minus 1 beta cubed plus alpha minus 2r minus 1 beta cubed, r equal to 1 to n by 2. What do you say? This is what we need to simplify, putting both of them under a common summation sign, because they have the same lower and the upper limits. Now, this is summation r equal to 1 to n by 2. See, if I cube this, alpha cubed plus alpha cubed, 2 alpha cubed, 2 alpha cubed. A square b and minus 3a squared b will get cancelled here. Yes or no? Right? 3a squared b plus 3a squared b and minus 3a squared b would get cancelled. Right? Okay. 3ab squared plus 3ab squared will give me 6ab squared. That will add up. Right? So that's 6ab squared. That's 3ab squared plus 3ab squared. Right? ab squared. 6ab squared. And b cubed and minus b cubed will get cancelled. This then is what it boils down to. Right? Now, this can be looked upon as twice summation alpha cubed r equal to 1 to n by 2 plus 6 alpha beta squared summation 2r minus 1 whole squared r equal to 1 to n by 2. Yes or no? Hey, this is what? Alpha cubed is independent of r. It's like adding alpha cubed how many times? N by 2 times. So this will become alpha cubed into n by 2. Alpha cubed added n by 2 times. That's the first summation. Right? The second summation, 6 alpha beta squared summation 4r squared minus 4r plus 1 r equal to 1 to n by 2. Yes or no? Clear? Which is n alpha cubed plus 6 alpha beta squared into. This is 4 times sum of the squares of the first n by 2 natural numbers. Summation r squared is what? Sum of the squares of the first n by 2 natural numbers. Yes or no? Right? So 4 times n by 2 into n by 2 plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Sum of the squares of the first n by 2 natural numbers, n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Right? Minus 4 times sum of the first n by 2 natural numbers, n by 2 into n by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1, which is n by 2, adding 1 n by 2 times. Just the happiest person in the class if I had tripped would be none other than no one. All right, so far so good, right? What I do is let me simplify the things here. This is n alpha cubed plus, I allow this 6 to penetrate into 3n. Yes or no? The 6 gone inside, plus alpha beta squared into n into n plus 2 into n plus 1, right? I hope you realize that 4 will get cancelled with this, so n into n plus 2 into n plus 1, right? Minus 3n into n plus 2, right? Because again this 4 will get cancelled. 3n into n plus 2 plus 3n right? This is n alpha cubed plus alpha beta squared. I can take n common. This n can come out. Plus 3, right? Which gives me like n plus 2 into n plus 1 minus 3 into n plus 2 minus 3, which makes it n minus 1. Is it? See? I took minus 3 common, so n plus 2 minus 1, right? Which is n plus 1, which is n plus 1, right? 3 common. So which is n alpha cube plus n alpha beta squared. I can again take n plus 1 common from this, and what I am left with is n plus 2 minus 3, which is n minus 1, which is n alpha cubed plus n alpha beta squared into n square minus 1. Is this the expression? Can you check if this is the expression that is required? Right? Clear? No, n is not missing. It's fine. You can take n common from this, n alpha common from this. So alpha squared plus beta squared into n squared minus 1. Where is it missing? कहाँ missing है? Now you know this one to be treated more like a result. Can I wipe this off? You know, you should again have the concentration to work through messy algebra. As long as you have an aesthetic sense of dealing with the algebra, it'll become less messier than usual. So just aesthetically deal with terms if the algebra looks messy. You're less liable to make mistakes then. Okay. See, number 16 is actually a standard result, and I want you to take cognizance of this. Can I wipe this off and go ahead with number 16? 16 from now on should be looked upon as a regulation result for the sake of this class. We want to show that n to power n into n plus 1 by 2 whole to power 2n greater than n factorial whole cube. This is what we want to establish, right? Now, this would be true if and only if. This would be true if and only if taking the nth root of both sides, n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square, nth root of 1 cubed into 2 cubed into n cubed. Yes or no? Isn't it? N factorial means 1 into 2 into 3 up to n. Cube means 1 cubed into 2 cubed into n cubed. On extracting the nth root, this is what transpires. Now, this is like n into n plus 1 by 2 whole squared divided by n. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? Huh? कैसे? ये देखो ना, ये n square by n, that will be n, and n plus 1 by 2 whole squared. Right? This will be true if this is greater than nth root of 1 cubed into 2 cubed into n cubed. But what is this? 1 cube plus 2 cube plus n cubed, yes or no? Which is like 1 cube plus 2 cube plus n cubed divided by n. Isn't it? Because n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square is 1 cube plus 2 cube plus n cube. And then by n, which is greater than nth root of 1 cubed into 2 cubed into n cubed. The right hand side is the geometric mean of these numbers. The left hand side is the arithmetic mean of these numbers. Arithmetic mean more than geometric mean is the statement. Yes or no? number 16, if n is a positive integer, means a natural number, we want to show that 1 plus 1 by n to the power n is less than 1 plus 1 by n plus 1 whole to power n plus 1. Actually, then what we want to show is 1 plus 1 by n plus 1 greater than 1 plus 1 by n to the power n, and the n plus 1 are the root of this. This is what we want to show. Ayush, nahi na? Huh? Complex? Real? Right. Let's interpret. We are done actually. Just need to interpret this. See, what is this? This is the product of n times and then 1. N such numbers and 1. That means n plus 1 numbers. There are n plus 1 numbers here, which includes n numbers of this kind and 1 number which is 1. It's the n plus 1th root of these numbers, the product, right? That means right hand side is actually the geometric mean. Right hand side is actually the geometric mean of the following numbers: 1 plus 1 by n, 1 plus 1 by n, 1 plus 1 by n, and 1. 1 plus 1 by n, 1 plus 1 by n taken n times, and then 1. N plus 1th root of their product is the geometric mean of these numbers, yes or no? Is that not the right hand side? Geometric mean of a certain set of numbers means what? For 2 numbers it's square root of AB. For 3 numbers it's cube root of ABC. For 4 numbers it's 4th root of ABCD. For n plus 1 numbers, which are these numbers, it's the n plus 1th root of their product. That's the geometric mean of n plus 1 numbers. Now, what I just need to check is if the left hand side is the arithmetic mean of these numbers. If the left hand side turns out to be the arithmetic mean of these numbers, then we are taken care of. We are shielded. Yes or no? So let me see what the arithmetic mean of these numbers is. If it turns out to be the left hand side, then this statement is about AM bigger than GM. Yes or no? Bothersome? No? So let me find out how do you find the arithmetic mean of n plus 1 numbers? The arithmetic mean of these n plus 1 numbers would be 1 plus 1 by n added n times their sum, 1 plus 1 by n added n times, plus 1 divided by the total number of numbers. Yes or no? Arithmetic mean of these numbers means their sum divided by the total number of numbers. That's the arithmetic mean of these numbers, right? Which is like n plus 1 plus 1, right? N plus 1 plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Now divide this by this, which is 1 plus 1 by n plus 1, which is the left hand side. Yes or no? No? So the left hand side is really the arithmetic mean of these numbers. The right hand side is the geometric mean of these numbers. Very clearly, arithmetic mean has to be greater than the geometric mean if the numbers are distinct and positive. Right? So this is only a statement about arithmetic mean being bigger than geometric mean. This is a result that I want you to remember also. I want you to remember this result. That means, if I have an expression like this, 1 plus 1 by n whole to power n, if you increase n, in this case n is increased to n plus 1, the right hand side is the same as the left hand side. Instead of n, you have n plus 1. That means if you have increased n, then the expression increases in value, isn't it? This expression is the same as this expression, except that it has an enhanced value of n. N becomes n plus 1. That means when n is increased, the value of this expression will increase. Therefore, 1 plus 1 by n to power n increases as n increases. 1 plus 1 by n to power n will increase as n increases. That's what it means, isn't it? This is the value of 1 plus 1 by n when n becomes n plus 1. That means when n is increased, isn't it? Right? So, first of all, remember this. This is a result, and the fact that 1 plus 1 by n to power n increases as n increases, It's a very useful result. It's a very useful result. Then it will decrease. Huh? Oh, this is the value of n. This is an increased n, isn't it? Okay, look at it like this. TK. I think it's only about symbolism. Let me call this expression as Pn. 1 plus 1 by n to power n as Pn. Then the same expression right hand side is Pn plus 1, isn't it? 1 plus 1 by n plus 1 to power n plus 1 is the right hand side. And is the right hand side more than the left hand side? Yeah, the right hand side is Pn plus 1 is more than Pn, isn't it? That means as n has been increased, Pn increases. Yes or no? Got me? X, Y, Z are distinct natural numbers. X, Y, Z are distinct natural numbers. Okay? And 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z is 1. 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z is 1. Alright. X, Y, Z are distinct natural numbers. Find all possible triplets X, Y, Z. Stand by. Values of X, Y, Z commensurate with this, given that X, Y, Z are distinct natural numbers. Right? Now, there is no loss of generality if I assume that one of these numbers is largest, one is second largest, one is third largest. Right? It's okay to do that. So let me assume, say, X greater than Y greater than Z. Can I do that? Right? That means 1 by X would be less than 1 by Y would be less than 1 by Z. Yes or no? Right? Now, look at this expression 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z. Now, the largest here is 1 by Z. Yes or no? That means 1 by X will be less than 1 by Z. Isn't it? Largest is 1 by Z. So 1 by X will be less than 1 by Z. 1 by Y will be less than 1 by Z. Yes or no? And 1 by X will be equal to 1 by 1 by Z will be equal to 1 by Z. Yes or no? Right? Therefore, 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z would be less than 3 by Z. 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z would be less than 3 by Z. Right? So, this would be less than 3 by Z. Yes or no? So far so good? Right? But this is 1. This is 1. Left hand side is 1. So 1 less than 3 by Z. Z less than 3. Yes or no? So one thing, Z is a natural number less than 3. X, Y, Z are all natural numbers. Z is a natural number less than 3. That means Z could take values like 1 and 2 only. Z could take values like 1 and 2 only, yes or no? Right? But if you plug in Z equal to 1, if you plug in Z equal to 1 here, then what transpires is that 1 by X plus 1 by Y equal to 0. But that's not possible because X and Y are natural numbers. They are positive, so their sum cannot be 0. So Z equal to 1 is ruled out. Z therefore must be 2. Z therefore must be 2, yes or no? Right? So we have found 1 at least. So Z is 2. Alright. So far so good. Right? Now let's proceed. Now that Z is 2, let's simplify matters. 1 by X plus 1 by Y would be 1 minus half. Can 1 by X, because one of them has to be negative, but if X and Y are natural numbers, can any one of them be negative? I know. So 1 by X plus 1 by Y, 1 by half, 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2, that makes it half. Yes or no? Right? Hey, 1 by X is less than 1 by Y. 1 by X is less than 1 by Y. And 1 by Y is equal to 1 by Y. So 1 by X plus 1 by Y is less than 2 by Y. Yes or no? 1 by X plus 1 by Y is therefore less than 2 by Y. Hey, but 1 by X plus 1 by Y is half. So this gives me half less than 2 by Y. This gives me Y less than 4. Hey, but Y is greater than Z. Therefore, Y is greater than 2 because Y is greater than Z. Therefore, Y lies between 2 and 4. What's the only possible value of Y? 3. Y therefore turns out to be 3. Y is 3, Z is 2. So X turns out to be 6. X will turn out to be 6. So the set is 2, 3, 6 or any rearrangement of this would be a solution set to this. Yes or no? One of these numbers would have to be 2, 1, 3, 1, 6. That sums up the entire set. Yes or no? Right?